Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to Doing Business in Bentonville. My name is Andy Wilson, and I'm the Executive Director, and thank you so much for joining us today. I have such a great guest. I've been visiting her now for several months, and Misty Bonee, welcome to Doing Business in Bentonville.
Thank you, Andy.
You finally got here.
I got here, finally.
Yes, it has been such a journey, but I'm so happy that you're here today. I'll tell you, we have a great podcast today because we're going to get in some really specifics around the things that's going to help all of our Walmart Sam's suppliers do their job better, more business, more profit, all of that great stuff. So we're going to get into that. But before we do, Misty, I just want you to tell our viewers about you, because you have a real interesting career. And I've just got to go and share this. I mean, Misty and I worked at Walmart. Misty worked 25 years at Walmart. And so, wow, I'm excited to have a Walmart alumni sitting across from me today. It's so good that you're here. But before we get into about your great company, let's introduce you to our viewers and listeners.
No, I appreciate it, Andy. I appreciate the opportunity to come and talk to you today. I watch a lot of your podcasts, and they're always full of great information, and I've learned a lot just listening to the ones that you've done so far. So I really appreciate the opportunity. 25 years with Walmart, a little over 25 years. Me and my husband kind of made a joke because he was with Walmart 25 as well. And I stayed one more year longer than him. So I had to top him off. But 25 years and just a great career. When you start at a young age and kind of grow up in a company, you're privileged to have a lot of different roles and a lot of different careers within those walls, right?
Right.
So supply chain was the biggest part probably of my career at Walmart. Spent some time in merchandising, innovations, went over to Sam's Club actually for a couple of years, and actually worked in item files some and was able to help with the i360 launch that suppliers are working with now, where they create and do things with their items. So just a vast experience at Walmart that I'm thankful now to have as I went into the supplier world, so to speak, with my role here at Bay Cities now.
Well, it's so wonderful. So many of us had great careers at Walmart, and why we had it was never easy. I tell people I never sat in an easy chair. There's no such thing there, but that's okay. But we did great work. We got to work with great people, great leaders, and, ultimately serve the customers in the stores, clubs, and everything we did was about that. And, it was great learning for us, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I spent a lot of time in the field operations as well as the home office. So getting out into the distribution centers and then coming back to the home office and being able to bring that experience back to the home office and say, this is what happens in the real world. Right. This is what reality is.
I love that.
And so when we work through a different process or a procedure at the home office, was able to help them translate that back into reality.
One of the things that Sam taught us at Walmart, he's taught us so much, and other great leaders at Walmart, he told us, he really kept us focused around two things: one, the customer, and second, the associates in the stores, distribution centers, clubs, wherever. And he said, we stand on their backs, and our job was to support customers and associates that were out there, every day, extremely working hard. And I love that, because then it taught us such a great foundation of culture there, and then it's good to see all of us that move on and do other great things.
Yeah.
And that's wonderful. Well, so speaking of great things you're doing today, I have... when we met, I met your husband too at a social event, and when we met, and you told me about what you did, and through our email communication to one of my guests early on the show, I got real interested in your company, and the more I dug and studied, I want to tell our viewers around. Tell us about Bay Cities, and then we'll get into specificities. But tell us about this great company I keep reading about.
Yeah, so Bay Cities Packaging and Design is the name of the company. The company started 65 years ago, so it's not brand new, and it's been around for many, many years as a brown box company. I mean, the company created and manufactured millions and millions of brown boxes, and probably within the last 10 or 15 years, we really switched to more of a even though brown box is a very big pillar still in our company and a very big part of what we do, the focus started to shift toward POP, so point of purchase displays. When I was at Walmart, one of the things that I did back in 2008 was help pioneer the multi-vendor, multi-department displays that travel through the distribution centers onto the stores. So it just made it so much easier for the stores to say, let me just take a shroud off the top of a display, put it on the floor, and it's done. I don't have to use store labor. Store labor is the most expensive thing that happens at the store level, right? We want them helping customer. Back in the day, it was about helping customers. You're at the register. You're doing all those things. Now, obviously, with self-checkout and some other things, the focus with labor is still there, but it is now with grocery pickup and delivery, and they're pulling orders, so that labor cost is still there.
That transitional labor.
Transitional labor, absolutely. Didn't go away. It just moved somewhere else.
Exactly.
So Bay Cities has done a really great job, and one of the reasons that I wanted to join them is because I saw what they did with these multi-vendor, multi-department point-of-purchase displays, and they said, we can take over this entire process and do a turnkey, basically, and say, supplier, work with us. It could be 20 suppliers. Work with us. We'll put together the display for you. We will design it. We have some of the best designers on the planet. We'll design it. We'll build the structure. We'll manufacture it stateside, by the way. We're a manufacturer that's in the U.S., so we're not a broker. Our plant is in California, but we also have other places in Chicago and just throughout the U.S. And then our paper mill is 500 feet from our front door. So we have a very, very close integrated relationship with our paper mill company as well. So we're able to reduce costs that way, and we're able to really come up with some innovative ideas and suggestions and solutions for those displays that really bring your brands to life.
That's so interesting. I know when I shop the stores, I love to see it. In fact, after we met, I went to some of the stores, look for your displays, because I still walk the stores. I will probably always walk the stores.
Yeah.
But when I got in there, I looked at some of your displays where you had 6 or 7, maybe 10 different departments on one display.
Correct.
And now your company then, all this merchandise is shipped in, and you build a display, you stock the display, and you send it through the distribution centers to the stores and clubs.
Do you need a job?
No. No, I'm
you hit the nail on the head.
But, okay, that is so phenomenal. One of the great things I really wanted to have you on is so many of our viewers and listeners are in the supply chain or in the supplier network. And so that's why I wanted to have you on, so you could talk about that. So some of the suppliers that are not in that space could reach out to you, and you could help navigate through that. So we'll get into that in a bit.
Sure.
But that's a great overview of the company, and I really like that. So let's do this. Let's keep talking about. So how does that happen? Okay. So I am a buyer. I'm a supplier at some point. Okay, Walmart has an idea, the supplier has an idea, or multiple suppliers have ideas. How, sort of walk us through all that. How was that? How would we do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, the first thing, as I think through when I transitioned into sales, just recently, honestly, Andy, I'm an operator at heart. I've been an operator my whole life. So when my CEO and COO called me in the office and said, we want to put you in sales, I said, no. I've been an operator my whole life. I don't know if I want to, I don't know if I want to go in sales. And they said, you've been in sales your whole life. You just don't know it, right? And so I think trust is a big factor. So, as people come to us and come to me personally and say, we want to entrust you with this very important project that we have, help us walk through it. So what we do is we bring those people into our office if they're local, or we just, obviously have some phone conversations, because after COVID, we have figured out that we can do all kinds of things from all over the world. So we bring those folks in, and we just walk them through everything that they need, from a time and action calendar, when we need product, what that display needs to look like. Maybe they already have their own design ready, and they just need us to build the structure and manufacture it for them. Maybe they are starting with a blank sheet of paper. We have graphic designers, 3D graphic designers, structural designers. We have everything that you need in-house to create a turnkey project. So we get with a merchant. The merchant sometimes, most of the time, will have a champion merchant, because you really need a champion merchant, especially if you're dealing with these multi-vendor, multi-departments, because you're spanning across multiple, suppliers. And so as these different suppliers come to us, we want to be able to go back to one merchant and say, here's a solution, here's a concern, whatever it happens to be, so we can get one unified answer from a Walmart or a Target or a Amazon, whoever it happens to be that we're working with. Mm-hmm. And so those folks come to us, and then we become the spoke, the middle of the wheel, so to speak.
Yes.
To your point, you said this earlier, all of the suppliers love this, by the way, because all of the product gets shipped into us. Mm-hmm. We then, in a nutshell, pay them minus like a participation cost, their cost for being on the display and the cost of the program. And then they're settled. We become the vendor of record then, and then we're shipping into Walmart, and then Walmart pays us. And that negotiated price, they've already dealt with the retailer. So we are just simply cloning their item.
Right.
And so we take on a big financial risk, but it's also administrative, the administrative part, right? Because that supplier then can kind of sit back and say, we have agreed to everything that Walmart has agreed to. We've shipped you all of our product. Bay Cities take over for us.
Wow.
Yeah.
All the suppliers listening right now, I think they're going to beat your door down because, when I assume so much of this, and then of course we've chatted multiple times too, but this is incredible what you do, and it's obvious that you execute very well. Mm-hmm. So I can see how valuable this is for cross merchandising. Mm-hmm. We were in the stores, we learned cross merchandising. We did it ourselves. Of course, we got communication from our marketing department all the time about ideas like this. But this is one simple cross merchandising idea, and the customer wins here big time. And do you have any statistics where this happens in sales, or that you can share how the sales have increased because there's multiple purchasing now going on, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do a lot, there's a lot of different departments that we handle these multi-vendor, multi-department in, but if I had to highlight one, it would probably be the toy category.
That's Barbie, right?
Barbie.
Okay,
Barbie, yes. Barbie
I think I've seen that recently. It was Barbie because, Barbie's so big this year because of the release in the movie and all that. And, but yeah, talk about that.
Yeah, Barbie was big. Paw Patrol, like some of the bigger movie releases. I have to kind of call out James Weber here. He's our toy guy. He's like the king of toys for Bay Cities. But we want to take what James has done in the toy department and move that across different categories, right? So whether it's health and beauty, OTC, there's many other categories within the retail environment that this makes sense. So if you have, for instance, with Barbie, you have the movie, you have apparel, you have a lunchbox. We did one with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that Kraft Macaroni had the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle like on their box, right?
Yeah, right?
But that became part of that whole entire, we call them trains.
Yeah.
They can be 4, 6, 8 pallets lined up together, and we call that a train. But anything goes, right? You can merchandise anything, and that's what this is all about, is about bringing that brand to life and really telling the story, and then captivating that customer to come in and shop that entire display or that entire train.
Right.
From a sales perspective, we definitely see a huge uptick. I mean, this is probably the thing that people come to us the most about, is these multi-vendor, multi-department displays, because we've perfected them and we execute them well. We have a very good relationship with the distribution centers, particularly with Walmart, but we're obviously have those established with other retailers as well, where we understand their guidelines and we understand how to ship those types of things through those networks so that they get received correctly, invoices incorrectly, and the store inventory is correct, because that's key as well, right? Especially in a time where store pickup is important and online orders are important, that inventory is correct. So it's about the sale at the register, but it's also about accuracy of the inbound product so that the store represents to the customer what they really have, whether on hand or, coming through the supply chain.
And that's a very complex situation you're talking about, there. But it sounds like you all have got that really worked out. And I think that's where, if anything could go wrong, I think it's there from that supply chain and getting all the work through the supply chain, through the distribution centers to the stores, and then invoice correctly, all of that.
Yep.
So you all do that. You all handle all of that specificity there.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And matter of fact, about the time I came on to Bay Cities, we were just launching Bay Cities Logistics. Mm-hmm. And so we have a small little logistics department as well. I say small, it's growing rapidly.
Right.
Where we're able to build direct to distribution center loads, shipping prepaid. Mm-hmm. So it bypasses consolidation, it bypasses any LTL, and it goes directly to the distribution centers and then directly to the stores. Mm-hmm. We're also able to add lead time back this way, because when it's shipping directly to a distribution center, you're able to add some days back in. So if a supplier's running behind on getting their product to us, we've automatically given them maybe a week. Right. To get product to us, which sometimes makes or breaks the fact that they don't have to ship directly to the store, right, and then have a store try to find it in the back room and load the product onto the display after it's already showed up. We don't want that to happen. So anytime that we can do anything like that to help the suppliers gain more time, because those decisions of the items on that display are being made, as you know, last minute. And so anytime that we can give some time back, that's right, very key to the supplier.
Okay, so we talked about we've talked about your great company, your products, your services, this whole flow of the way you organize and get it to the stores and clubs. So now, and one of the things we focus on here at Doing Business in Bentonville is around, of course, retail, around omnichannel. Now, let's talk omnichannel for a moment, because it's our role at DBB is to demystify this whole thing around omnichannel. It sounds like you're in the middle of omnichannel to me, because you're creating all of this. So talk about thoughts you have around omnichannel and our store is in our pockets. That's our phone now, So how does that work? If you look at it as someone that's buying online, how does that work for you in this whole omnichannel experience?
Yeah, so for us, a lot of this omnichannel conversation starts with that display that you put in the store and what story that display can tell. Okay. So whether it's from consistent branding, so we want to make sure whatever they're seeing at that brick and mortar store is the same consistency they see online.
Okay.
Whether it's making sure that display shows up in one piece and it looks very, very good at the store, because I don't know about you, Andy, but I hate to tell this about myself, but I'm one of those that if I see a dented can, I push it to the side and I get the can that's good. And I hate that I do that, but here's why. And I know it's all up here. That dented can to me represents possibly mishandling, or just not sure if they cared enough to take care of that can. If I do the same thing with a display and I see a display in the store and it is damaged, it's beat up, the graphics are poor, the branding's off, whatever it happens to be, I have to question, did they take care of my product that I'm buying from them in the same manner that extension of their product and their brand, which is that display. And I worry about that when I shop online as well. Is it going to show up to my door in a banged up box? And then I have to worry about what the product looks like on the inside. So that consistency is huge with us. QR codes obviously are a big thing with us. Augmented reality, TVs, anything that we can do to kind of extend that shelf out to the customer and say, when you're in the brick and mortar store, we want to educate you about this product, and we want to help drive sales to your .com site as well, by whatever means that happens to be, whether it's, again, that that's why I keep going back to this multi-vendor, but if you can have more variety of your product showcased at store, that's going to lead someone to look online and see what your extended shelf looks like.
Perfect. So you've already thought through all of that, and that's really key. This whole omnichannel experience is part of your culture, I would say, in your business. And so, like, you've thought through that really well. You understand that's how customers shop today. And that's how we buy. And it's phenomenal that we have all these choices now that we can just pick up our phone and go to our app and we can just shop. Yes. And I was just seeing the how much we just come out of the Thanksgiving, Black Friday holidays air, and amazing what was sold on online on Black Friday, the Cyber Monday recently that we had. So now we're going into the holiday season. Okay, are you ready? Are you ready for it in the stores and your products?
We are ready. Everything we have right now, everyone is on cruise control. Things are going great. I was just in the office right before I came over here. Usually we're running around, everybody's running around, like chickens with their heads cut off. But right now it's, I couldn't be more proud of our company. When I joined the company a couple of years ago, like I said earlier, I really tried to dive deep into our processes and procedures and make sure that we understood our retailers' guidelines. And we've hired well. We've hired very, very well. So when I stepped into this sales role, I felt comfortable leaving that operations because even though, like I said, I've kind of looked behind the curtain. I don't know if you watched The Wizard of Oz, but someone told me not to make too many movie references while I was on here because I tend to do that too much. But I've looked behind the curtain, right, at Walmart and where I'm at now. And so I know what we're capable of, and I know that we have the right people in place. And so that's why when I went to the office today and Christmas music was playing, and I was like,
awesome.
What's going on here?
Yeah, it's awesome. So you're ready. I love
We're
that.
ready.
I'm one of these days, I can visit your office. I would love to meet some of your wonderful people because they are the critical piece, as you know, to make all this happen and follow up. Now, so let's talk about you for a moment. Back to you for a moment. So if a supplier wants to get in touch with you, your company, so you have an office here in Northwest Arkansas. You have, like you said, you have offices. So walk through if we need to get in touch, if someone wants to get in touch with you, how does that work? Okay, and then sort of what's that process? I call you up, Mitzi. Look, I've got this idea.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you do?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that I love the most about Bay Cities is the team that teamwork we have created. We have so many people that are experts in their line of business. I mentioned James earlier of kind of being the toy guy. I'm kind of the OTC gal. All of us kind of have our own piece of the puzzle, so to speak, that we really have dived in deep and understand. Now, obviously, I'm always in the background. They always call me in just from a Walmart perspective, especially. But like I said earlier, we do business with other retailers as well. And so they obviously could go straight to our website that I'm sure you're going to share with them afterwards. They could contact me directly, and I can leave that information as well visible for them for anyone that's listening to us today to contact me. And I'm going to make sure you get to the right person on our team that is going to be able to walk you through. Last week I called a couple of the people that got the golden tickets. And one
you did?
I did. I talked to.
We should tell our listener viewers what the goal is if they don't know.
Yeah,
Explain
so
that.
Walmart has this amazing opportunity where suppliers are able to give a pitch to the Walmart buyers and then hopefully get picked up for on their shelf. Some of these suppliers already ship maybe through the marketplace. Maybe they do a little bit of work with Walmart online, but now they're ready to take that next step into the brick and mortar stores. And lots of times they get picked up in very small stores. They're doing a test for like 300, 350, and they need help of just navigating through that ecosystem, right? So a couple of them I talked to, the very first thing I talked to them about was supply chain, because sometimes we forget about that until the very end, and then people kind of start freaking out about, how are we going to ship this? And I started talking about ISTA testing and some different things like that. And he was like, hold on a second. Maybe you guys should do all the pack out for us, because he didn't know what an ISTA test was.
Right.
I wouldn't expect him to, but that's the kind of things that we can step in and say, we're going to make sure you don't get a fine. We're going to make sure that you're shipping on the right pallets. We're going to help you navigate through the ecosystem within Walmart's walls to make sure that you're the most successful to turn those 350 stores into 3,000 and 4,000
Exactly.
Stores. Yeah.
I know. I had some guests in recently just after Walmart had the open call, and they were so excited about what happened. And it can be a a life-changing opportunity for the individual and the company and the people that work in those companies to have that. And so it's great that even that you help navigate that role for those golden ticket individuals. So that's good to know. I'm glad you brought that up.
Absolutely.
Good.
Yep.
All right. I love merchandising. I can tell you love merchandising, and most of us are probably viewing this. We love that piece of that because, I love being a merchant. And then what you have done and your company has done is you've been able to take that and, like you have said multiple times, and really impact and grow the sales in the business through this cross-merchandising idea. Mm-hmm. And you make it so easy to execute in the stores.
Right.
Phenomenal.
Yep.
That's
absolutely.
Awesome. Great job. Great job.
I appreciate it.
And okay, now as we begin to wrap up a few minutes, Mitzi, you've done such a great job. Thank you for again for being here. But your company sounds like that it's really focused. You sound like you've got a great team of individuals in your company. We'll make sure too that people will know how to get in touch with you, your company website. We'll do all that on our website. And as we close up, what are some thoughts that you may have that you'd like to leave our guests with?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we've talked about a lot today, as you said, and I think that the biggest thing that I could say to folks today would be that building that relationship between the retailer and the supplier. And we consider ourselves a supplier. I know I talked about us being a spoke in the wheel, but we're ultimately a supplier of Walmart,
right?
Or any retailer that you're dealing with. So to really drive success in a well-orchestrated supply chain is to build those strong partnerships. That's one of the reasons why, again, I decided that sales would be the right role for me, because I love building relationships. I love trying to figure out what problem you're trying to solve and help provide that solution. Mm-hmm. But it starts with trust. And I think that you have to build that trust and build that rapport. It doesn't happen after one time or one conversation. It's going to take, what do they say, seven interactions with someone before you, I think that was in a book. Maybe not, maybe it shouldn't take quite 7, but sometimes it does. So I think that, just with my years at Walmart and just really understanding that ecosystem, that you really have to prioritize that relationship and build that relationship. It's all about trust. We can talk about sustainability. We can talk about just the global changes and the demands and things that are ever changing. But I think the biggest thing, again, is just building that relationship between you and your supplier, that they know you have their back, that you're going to solve that problem. And if something does go out in left field, you're right there in the trenches with them and you're going to get it fixed, because they're going to come back to you again when that happens.
You've done a great job, and it's been so good to talk to you about merchandising, omnichannel, and of course retail. You have an amazing company, and I will tell you, I can tell by your commitment, and it's a great company. And I really recommend to all our viewers, contact you, get on a line, look at this company. And I know in my research of the company and the services, and then you, wow, it's so great to learn, and you share all of this phenomenal information for the future. I can't wait to hear about some of the successes of 2024. I bet you've got big plans.
Yes. I'm excited too, Andy. And, something we didn't touch on that I wanted to make sure I mentioned is just the nonprofit that we also are very, very heavy in with Bay Cities. And I think that's important too for your suppliers and your community to really understand, is that as we get together as a community, that we do give back.
Right.
And so whether it's sharing and caring, or it's Havenwood, or Gather to Scatter, which is a new altruism. You and I work together with the altruism.
That's where we met.
That's where we met.
That's exactly where we met at the nonprofit.
Yeah,
gathering.
Absolutely. Gather to Scatter is a new one that I just joined that community. And it's based off of Alice Walton's quote, which is not what you gather in life, it's what you scatter.
Yeah.
And we have an amazing founder, Irene Medrano. She was the executive director of Sharing and Caring for 17 years and retired. And She has started a new nonprofit called Gather to Scatter, and I hate to plug somebody here at the end, but I think it's an amazing opportunity to give back to the community and Bay Cities. Even though our home office is in California, we're very much here in Northwest Arkansas, and we have a very large organization here. We're in the community. We want to be part of the community. So if you need our help with anything outside of retail, even if it's just we need you to help us with some signage, or we need you to help us with some donation for a toy drive, reach out to us as well, because we're here to help.
I am so glad. That is such a powerful closing. I am so glad you brought that up in your work. And, you're right. We met at a nonprofit, and you were very, very supportive. But thank you for giving back to our area in Northwest Arkansas and the other places that you do business. I was just before I was in the meeting, just before I came here, and with a nonprofit, and they rely on us.
Yes.
They rely on us so much to get the great work, to do the great work they do. And so thank you so we really want to encourage that. And so thank you again, your great company, for doing that. It's been wonderful having you, Missy.
Thank you.
I really enjoyed our time together. Of course, I always, and my creative side is, well, okay, let's take a camera to the stores and show some of this stuff, and let you talk about it. So maybe we should do that.
Yeah,
How's that?
absolutely.
I'd love to do that. But again, thank you so much. Great job, and great company, and to James and Toys, great job. So we appreciate that. To all of our viewers, thank you for joining us today. It's been such a great time. I've enjoyed so much having Missy here as my guest today. And you can always check us out on Spotify, Apple, YouTube. You can watch us on YouTube, listen, and don't forget our website, because that's where we will post all. We'll post this on our website and many other places on our platform. But on our website, we will have information that Missy talked about, how you can get in touch with Bay Cities and her and all that. So we'll have that there for you, Missy. Great job.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.
Bye.